All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. It's about that time. Jeff Johnson got 3 things you need to know. What up, Jeff?
Hey, good morning, Rick. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you this morning.
Happy to have you.
Listen, welcome back to the show called What City Do I Want to Go To Next? As the Donald Trump train decides where he wants to bring the National Guard, he has canceled his trip to Chicago. He has taken New Orleans off the board, and now he is focused his sights on the great city of Memphis, Tennessee. And I think what we're seeing is clear. I think Trump's advisors let him know that Chicago was going to be a challenge because you had a governor that wasn't going to be in support of that. And unlike Washington, D.C., where the president of the United States is actually in control of the National Guard, the governor is in the control of the National Guard in each state. So for him to try to engage a city that is in the state controlled by a Democratic governor creates tons of legal issues for him that, of course, he does not want to deal with. In the state of Tennessee, there is a Republican governor, and that governor, like many in Republican-controlled states, loathe the cities, especially those that are controlled by Democratic governors. And so what we're seeing now is the governor of Tennessee being in support of Trump going into Memphis. Of course, Memphis has a brother who is a mayor, Paul Young, and is like many other cities that have had issues of violence over the last decade, but in the last year have seen violent crimes and murders drop. There is no need for this. And what I loved is some local leaders saying, listen, if you want to provide us with some help, and put some of the federal funding back into violence reduction programs, put some of the federal funding back into programs that we know are helping to reduce violence. We don't need National Guard to help reduce violence. And then another, that the mayor, Rick, really lifted something that I don't think a lot of people have thought about, which is the last time that the National Guard was deployed in Memphis was after the death of Martin Luther King Jr. And so he's saying, listen, this is not something that we want in our city at all. We don't need it in our city at all. But again, this is, I mean, it's almost like everything else, a game show, because nobody within the federal administration lifts data. It's just the president and his cronies talking about this is the most violent city in America. This is the most violent city. This is a city that's the most unsafe. They're not using any crime stats. They're not using any data to elevate that there's a need, because if they elevated that data, they would show that there are reductions in crime, that these cities are using mechanisms that they hadn't used before, that there's partnerships across mental health areas, violence reduction areas, education, job skills and training and opportunities, and that these cities are starting to get things right. So it's going to be interesting to see if he bullies his way in with his governor, because legally, as long as the governor is giving away his National Guard troops to the president, there's nothing illegal, even though it's immoral and unnecessary.
Hey, Jeff.
But Memphis looks like the site that's next.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask, so don't you think that what Trump is, his methodology behind all this National Guard stuff is not to really fix problems, but to give the appearance that he's addressing problems?
Oh, I mean, it's all a stage play, which is why he uses the language that he uses. He keeps talking about how he solved the violence crime in Washington, D.C., which is absolutely a farce. I mean, there couldn't be a bigger lie. The interesting thing is, some of the greatest areas of crime in Washington, D.C. aren't places he ever sent any troops. And so it's all a stage play. I mean, it's all just a glorified reality show / movie with incredibly dangerous consequences. And so, yes, this is a play for his base, so that he can say that a place is violent, even though the violence has been reduced. And listen, I mean, you know as well as I do, and Kay, you know as well as I do, and Rick, you know as well as I do, and everybody listening knows as well as I do, that there's no city that's safe and perfect. There are always places that have challenges. But let's elevate the places and elevate the things that are working. And that's our job to do because he's not going to do it. So hit me at Jeff's Nation on IG. And for those of you that are doing violence reduction work, hit me with your information, and I want to talk about you all and you all that are doing that real work.
There it is. Hey, Jeff, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Jeff
More
Nation,
Rickey
yes,
Smiley
sir.
Morning Show coming up.